Hello, everyone. This is Leanne Allegretto at the National Weather Service in Missoula. I am bringing you the planning briefing for the next several days' worth of weather and any associated impacts with that weather. So let's get started. We'll start this briefing with the weather threat matrix. And as you can see, there is a lot of moderate and high threat for most of the zones, not all of them, either moderate or high. And it's going to be in the form of heat and dry humidities. And you will see a little smattering down there in southwest Montana zones, both Friday and Saturday afternoons. There is a very, very slight probability of thunderstorms in the afternoon in those areas. And I'll touch upon that as we keep going forward. But overall, it's going to be very hot and very dry across all of our fire weather forecast area right through Tuesday, possibly longer. In fact, here's a look at the satellite as of the time of the recording. And as you can see, as the daylight comes up and shows, we've got quite a bit of regional smoke coming in across the Northern Rockies from Washington and Oregon, and to a lesser extent, Idaho. So this is going to play an impact as we go into the heat this weekend in the form of will or will it not inhibit true maximum warming. Before we get to that, let's talk about that slight chance of lightning and thunder probability down in southwest Montana. This is for Friday afternoon, and there's even a lesser chance on Saturday afternoon. But I did want to show the chance for lightning on Friday during the afternoon and evening hours. So here's the maximum temperature forecast right through next Thursday. And this is for select areas, but the same theme can be applied across the board. We're looking at near record or even record breaking high temperatures, particularly Sunday for the majority of our region. And the reason I brought up the smoke earlier is because we've been struggling here at the office to try and determine how much smoke will play an impact on inhibiting the maximum heating potential across the region. The thicker the smoke, the cooler the temperatures will be. If for some reason the smoke thins out or it goes north or south of our region and that allows for maximum heating potential, then we're going to see those values of 112, 115, 110, depending on where you're at. And that's going to linger right through the first half of next week. So the heat really starts Friday. It gets particularly warm Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then gradually tapers off as we get into a potential pattern change going into next week. But just to let you know, these values are no joke, and our confidence is quite high that they could reach these maximum high temperatures if the smoke does not inhibit things. Here's the minimum RHs for Thursday today through Tuesday of next week. And you can see there's teens, low teens in a lot of places, and very poor recoveries during the overnight hours. And I'll get to that in the next slide. But overall, we're looking at pretty significant teens to low teens, some places high teens in those the minimum relative humidities in the afternoon, daytime hours. And then the maximum humidity, the overnights, the strong thermal belts will be in place and strengthening. You can see that it's just not a lot of places recover all that great during this time. And of course, please stop the presentation and take a look at the numbers more closely if you need to. But for the sake of time, I'll keep going. Now, the wind gusts and directions during the same time frame, Friday through Tuesday, I really wanted to point out that there is an easterly component to the winds basically Saturday, Sunday, and again in some places on Monday. And some of it will be northeasterly winds, some of it will be easterly winds, and slightly gusty, especially on the mid slopes and the ridge tops. So overall, they're not very strong winds, but there is a wind direction shift out of the east to northeast during the weekend time frame. So depending on your fire, your forest, wherever you're at, that could play a part in how operations go. And then, of course, the ridge breakdown is scheduled for next week, late next week. And I wanted to show two images. The first in the top left is the Tuesday, Wednesday positioning of the low pressure system, which is up in British Columbia. The Northern Rockies, which I have in a box basically is starting to get under the influence of southwesterly flow. And that southwesterly flow does linger through the end of the work week into the weekend. You can see the graphic in the bottom right shows Friday time frame. The low is moving inland. It kind of broadens a little bit into a more wide trough, and the ridge starts to shift to the east. And during this time frame, we're expecting unsettled weather, increased convection, along with lightning potential and cooling temperatures. Now, if there's any rainfall, we're still uncertain because it's so far out there. We really need to see if this low coming off the coast will bring any Pacific moisture with it. But right now, we're looking at a ridge breakdown either the middle to later part of next week, excuse me, and into the weekend. All right, just kind of covering what we already know. It's dry out there, and a lot of places in western Montana and central Idaho have been degraded as far as drought conditions go. So things are crisping up out there if they haven't already. Thank you for attending this briefing. You can always give us a call, shoot us an email, and our next briefing is scheduled for Sunday, July 21st, and we'll see you there. Thank you.